And there's more. BC teacher suspended for hosing down and pouring vinegar on students. Bizarre punishment handed out to students who lost at a game similar to kick the can. A Burns Lake teacher has been disciplined for soaking students with a hose in 2016 and pouring a mixture of flour, water, and vinegar over the heads of students in 2015. Margaret Kathleen Rayanne Charlie was handed a one-day suspension, which she served February 10th. According to a consent resolution agreement, in June of last year, Margaret Kathleen Rayanne Charlie organized a game similar to Kick the Can for her grade 8 drama class. The students who lost the game were lined up and sprayed with a hose, sometimes twice. One student reported being forced to miss an important math class because she had to go home and change clothes. Two others were injured, one requiring stitches and others sustaining a sprained ankle. Students were not allowed to opt out, and some said the game made them feel stressed out and anxious. Not the first time. In 2015, Charlie organized a similar game with a class in which the losers had a mixture of flour, vinegar, and water poured on their head as they lay in the school courtyard, according to the documents. After a parent complained, Charlie was called to meet with officials from the Nechako Lakes School District. At that time, she assured them the game would not be played again. The one-day suspension was handed down by the BC Commissioner for Teacher Regulation. Charlie has held a BC teaching certificate since 1982. I think it's time she lose that teaching certificate. One step up from a hooker. Former principal forced to pay costs for rude comments and falsifying a grade. Yorkton, Saskatchewan principal Trent Senger, spelled Senger, his last name, pleaded guilty to giving student false passing mark in 2014. A former high school principal in Yorkton, Saskatchewan, has been forced to pay $5,000 in investigative and hearing costs and has been suspended for 1 year by the Saskatchewan Professional Teachers Regulatory Board. In February, former Sacred Heart High School principal Trent Senger pleaded guilty to 6 charges of professional misconduct. The charges ranged from falsely giving a passing mark to a student to making numerous inappropriate comments to staff and students. Changing marks as serious misconduct, read the decision. It's an integrity offense. In 2015, Sanger told the school secretary to enter false information and give a passing grade to a student who had not enrolled in the class. The student needed the credit to graduate. As well, Sanger also pleaded guilty to not constructing timetables appropriately, often passing the responsibility off to other staff members. As a result, some students didn't have their appropriate classes to complete grades 11 and 12. Sexist and offensive. Staff members also made numerous complaints about comments Sanger made at school. In 2014, Sanger was discussing a fundraiser where the winners of an event would go on a double date with teachers. The students were in the SHHS office with the secretaries discussing the details of the event when Sanger approached them and said, "Just one step up from a hooker," in reference to a teacher, and walked away, read the report. After Sanger's comment, The room went silent. The decision lists a number of other instances where he called staff pathetic or lazy and used profanity. It is an aggravating factor that he was a principal communicating with a subordinate in many instances, read the decision. Principals must lead by example, respect staff, and not abuse their authority. Joint submission dismissed. While a joint submission was reached between Sanger and the regulatory board, it was dismissed by the discipline committee. Since Sanger pleaded guilty and left the teaching profession last year, the joint submission asked that Sanger be given a 4-year suspension from teaching and not be fired. It appeared that what motivated the teachers' agreement to a 4-year suspension was the promise that no cost would be sought, read the decision. The discipline committee is not convinced that the teachers' agreement was truly voluntary or well-informed. The committee ruled that a cost recovery of $5,000 and a 1-year suspension made more sense. Although an offer of no costs may serve the teacher's immediate interests and needs, the overall proposed sanction establishes a precedent that is unwarranted, read the decision. In professional misconduct cases and barring exceptional circumstances, costs should be ordered. If Sanger chose to return to teaching, he would also have to take 2 remedial courses at his own cost. And I know there's more examples, but this video is already long enough. We see that, kids have enough to worry about at school, and now they have to worry about these kind of teachers and principals doing absolutely horrible, unspeakable things to them. So, if you experience any kind of unprofessionalism from a teacher or principal, or you hear about a teacher or principal acting unprofessionally, tell the appropriate authorities. Call up the school board, speak to the superintendent, call your school board trustee, even call the police if there's criminal offenses involved. Don't let them get away with it. These teachers and principals need to be kept in check.